Today, we dive into the twisted tale of the 2009 horror comedy Jennifer's Body. Let's begin. The story kicks off inside a mental institution, where we meet Anita Lesnicki, or Needy, a notorious inmate known for her violent tendencies. From her solitary cell, Anita begins recounting her unsettling journey from being a nerdy high schooler to a disturbed patient in this institution. Anita is from a small town called Devil's Kettle, famously named after its mysterious waterfall that vanishes into a deep, unknown pit. She attends the only high school in town alongside her childhood best friend, Jennifer Check. Despite their differences, Anita being a socially awkward nerd and Jennifer an alluring cheerleader, the two girls share an unbreakable bond. Jennifer affectionately calls her Needy, a nickname that sticks. One night, the pair decide to attend a concert by an indie band named Low Shoulder at a local dive bar, Melody Lane. Needy's boyfriend, Chip, isn't thrilled about her spending so much time with Jennifer, sensing a deep, perhaps subconscious attraction Needy harbors for her friend. Jennifer, on the other hand, has her eyes set on the band's frontman, Nick. Eager to make an impression, she introduces herself to the band, dragging Needy along. Needy grows suspicious when she questions why a seemingly popular band would play in such a remote town. Nick dismisses her concerns, claiming they want to connect with their fans. Captivated by Nick, Jennifer goes off to get drinks, leaving Needy alone. While waiting, Needy overhears a disturbing conversation between the band members. Nick speculates that Jennifer is a virgin, describing her as the kind of small-town girl who flirts and pretends to be promiscuous, but never actually follows through. Alarmed, Needy tries to warn Jennifer about the band's creepy behavior, but Jennifer brushes it off, too smitten by Nick's charm to care. As the band begins their performance, things take a dark turn. A sudden electrical malfunction sets the bar ablaze. Flames spread rapidly, causing chaos as panicked patrons scramble for an escape. Amid the fiery chaos, several people perish, but Needy and Jennifer narrowly make it out through a bathroom window. Outside, Jennifer appears dazed, seemingly lost in her own thoughts, as if in shock from the traumatic experience. As they catch their breath, Nick approaches them, his intentions shrouded in an unsettling calmness, setting the stage for the dark events that are about to unfold. Seeing Jennifer deeply shaken, Nick suggests that she and Needy should rest in his van. Needy, feeling uneasy, declines and insists they head home, but Jennifer, seemingly mesmerized by Nick, agrees to go with him. Watching Jennifer leave with the band, Needy feels a foreboding sense of dread, comparing Nick's presence to a sinister, twisted tree she once saw as a child. Later that night, as Needy arrives home, she calls her boyfriend Chip to recount the horrifying events at the bar. Mid-conversation, her doorbell rings. Given the late hour, Needy is understandably frightened. With Chip still on the line, she cautiously answers the door but finds no one there. Relieved, she dismisses it as her imagination. However, as Needy heads back inside, she notices a shadow lurking within her home. Uneasy, she hangs up the phone and starts to head upstairs when she hears a strange noise coming from the kitchen. With trepidation, Needy investigates and finds the tap leaking water. She shuts it off, but as she turns around, she's confronted by a chilling sight. Jennifer, bruised and bleeding, standing in the middle of the kitchen, her body dripping blood onto the floor. Horrified, Needy asks her what happened, but Jennifer only responds with a creepy, unsettling grin. Ignoring Needy's concern, Jennifer rummages through the fridge, throwing food around like a wild animal. She grabs a raw chicken, ripping into it with her teeth. However, she quickly begins choking and coughs up a thick, black tar-like substance all over the kitchen floor. Needy, now in a full panic, attempts to call 911, but Jennifer suddenly slams her against the wall, stopping her. With a twisted smile, Jennifer asks Needy if she's scared of her. Before Needy can respond, Jennifer lunges forward, biting Needy's neck as if she were a vampire. Then, just as abruptly, Jennifer runs out of the house, leaving Needy terrified and confused. The next morning, the entire town is in mourning after the tragedy at the bar, with several students and even a teacher among the dead. Needy, still traumatized by both the fire and the bizarre encounter with Jennifer, heads to school, only to find Jennifer acting as if nothing happened. When Needy confronts her about the previous night, Jennifer dismisses her concerns, accusing Needy of exaggerating and making things up. But Needy knows what she saw. She spent hours scrubbing the black substance Jennifer vomited onto her kitchen floor. It was real, a nightmarish encounter she can't simply forget. As the school struggles to cope with the devastating loss of lives, Needy grapples with the horrifying realization that something demonic is happening, and Jennifer is at the center of it. Worried about Jennifer's strange behavior, Needy confides in her boyfriend Chip. Chip tries to brush it off, attributing Jennifer's vomiting episode to smoking, but Needy can't shake the feeling that something far darker is at play, something demonic. Meanwhile, at the school football field, Jennifer approaches Jonas, the team's captain, who is grieving the death of his best friend Craig, a victim of the bar fire. With a seemingly sympathetic tone, Jennifer offers her condolences, even claiming that she met Craig at the bar. She lies, telling Jonas that Craig's last words were that he and Jennifer would make a great couple. Manipulating his grief, Jennifer lures Jonas into the nearby woods, under the guise of fulfilling Craig's supposed last wish. They start making out passionately, but Jonas quickly notices something unsettling. Wild animals and birds have gathered around them, almost as if summoned by an unseen force. Jennifer's demeanor shifts, and with a sinister grin, she tells Jonas he'll soon be reunited with his dead friend. Her mouth distorts into a monstrous gaping maw as she viciously bites into him. The horrifying attack is interrupted by the school principal, who hears Jonas's blood-curdling screams. By the time he reaches the scene, it's too late. Jonas lies dead, his body brutally disemboweled and being feasted upon by wild animals. Jennifer, now a flesh-eating demon, is later seen swimming naked in the lake, her body seemingly healing and regenerating without a trace of her wounds. The town reels from the shock of Jonas's brutal murder, too stunned to return to normalcy. However, Jennifer appears unaffected, thriving as if nothing had happened. The double tragedies turn the town into a media sensation, and the Low Shoulder Band, who falsely claimed heroism during the bar fire, ride the wave of attention to newfound stardom. Their song, Through the Trees, becomes an unofficial anthem of unity, even as a month passes with no new incidents or murders. But Jennifer's good spirits don't last. Her once vibrant appearance starts to fade. Her skin breaks out badly, and she appears sickly and depressed. Needy notices the change and questions her, but Jennifer vaguely mentions that it's wearing off, hinting at something sinister beneath the surface. The school principal announces that the Low Shoulder Band has agreed to perform at the upcoming spring formal, presenting it as a charity event to lift the spirits of the grieving town. The news leaves Needy upset, unable to stomach the band's false heroism. Later, outside class, Colin, a shy and emo student, gathers the courage to ask Jennifer out on a movie date. At first, she coldly turns him down, but after overhearing Needy compliment Colin, Jennifer abruptly changes her mind. She decides to give him a chance, inviting him to watch a movie at her house. That evening, while Needy and Chip are getting intimate, Jennifer sends Colin an address. Colin eagerly follows her invitation, only to arrive at a dark, creepy neighborhood. He knocks on the door, but there's no answer. Instead of turning back, Colin foolishly decides to explore further. He makes his way around the house and finds a plastic-covered window, which he climbs through. Inside, the house is eerily silent. Colin nervously looks around, the unsettling atmosphere only heightened when a crow suddenly flaps its wings and flies past him, startling him. The stage is set for another horrifying encounter. Colin follows the sound of music playing upstairs and enters a candlelit room. As he glances around, Jennifer, looking sick and almost unrecognizable, emerges from behind him. They begin making out, but there's a creeping sense of dread. This isn't leading to anything romantic. Suddenly, a nest of mice scurries across the floor, startling Colin. Yet Jennifer, unfazed, continues undressing him. Now Colin is vulnerable, unable to run or escape. As things intensify, he notices a disturbing change in Jennifer. Her irises are shifting in color and size, morphing into something unnatural. Panicking, he tries to back away, but Jennifer swiftly grabs his arm and breaks it with ease. Her strength is inhuman, and she takes sadistic pleasure in his fear. She tells him she wants him to feel frightened and hopeless before she brutally disembowels him, feasting on his organs with a monstrous delight. Meanwhile, Needy is with Chip, but during their intimate moment, she starts to sense something terribly wrong. She hallucinates, seeing blood dripping from the ceiling, and envisions Jonas and Jennifer sitting on Chip's couch. Jennifer appears almost animalistic, her posture unsettling. Needy gasps for air, overwhelmed by fear, and abruptly ends the encounter, leaving a confused Chip behind. On her drive home, Needy's fear escalates when Jennifer suddenly appears in front of her car, staring at her with a predatory look. Needy swerves and halts the car, only for Jennifer to leap onto the windshield, scaring her even more. In a frantic state, Needy reverses and speeds away, desperately trying to get home. Once home, Needy goes straight to bed, hoping for some semblance of safety. But her relief is short-lived. As she lies under the blanket, Jennifer creepily emerges from under it. Needy screams, but Jennifer, now oddly calm, tries to soothe her. The tension between them blurs as Jennifer makes a move on Needy, and they end up making out, leaving Needy both shocked and confused. Snapping out of it, Needy orders Jennifer to leave, but Jennifer insists on explaining what's been happening to her. Jennifer begins to recount the night of the bar fire, labeling the members of the Low Shoulder Band as agents of Satan. The scene flashes back to that horrifying night. Jennifer had left with the band, who drove her to a secluded area in the woods. The van itself was filled with eerie objects, charred skulls and books on dark magic. It didn't take long for Jennifer to realize their sinister intentions when they started discussing her virginity. Desperate, Jennifer lied, claiming she was a virgin in hopes that it would convince them to let her go. But she couldn't have been more wrong about their plans. The band members took Jennifer to the town's eerie waterfall, a notorious place shrouded in local legends. Jennifer tried to run, sensing danger, but Nick grabbed her and tied her up near the waterfall's edge. With a sinister smile, he revealed his true intentions: to perform a ritual sacrifice. The band hoped that offering a virgin girl to Satan would grant them fame and fortune. Nick began chanting a dark incantation, and as the sinister words echoed through the night, he brutally stabbed Jennifer with a dagger. He then tossed the blood-soaked blade into the whirlpool, completing the ritual. Back in the present, Jennifer explains to Needy how, against all odds, she survived that night. Confused and in shock, she had gone looking for Needy after the band left her for dead. On her way home, she encountered Amit, an exchange student from their school, wandering away from the scene of the bar fire. Realizing no one knew Amit had survived, Jennifer took him to the woods and made him her first meal. As Jennifer recounts this chilling tale, she reveals her dark secret. Whenever her stomach is full of human flesh, she becomes invincible. To prove her claim, Jennifer slits her own arm, and to Needy's horror, the wound instantly heals. Alarmed by this monstrous revelation, Needy threatens to call the police, accusing Jennifer of murdering Jonas. But Jennifer, confident and unaffected, retorts that no one would believe such a wild story. With that, she leaves, vanishing into the night. The following day, Needy is devastated to learn that Jennifer has killed Colin as well. Realizing Jennifer's bloodlust is insatiable, Needy dives into research on occult rituals in her school's library. She stumbles upon the concept of demonic transference, which occurs when a non-virgin is mistakenly offered as a sacrifice to Satan. The ritual may grant the desired power, but it also leaves a demon bound to the victim's soul. To survive, Jennifer must continually feed on human flesh. When starved, she becomes weak and vulnerable, her only chance of being killed. Terrified, Needy warns Chip about the danger, especially with the upcoming school dance, which would be like an all-you-can-eat buffet for Jennifer. Needy begs Chip not to attend, but he brushes off her concerns, suggesting she needs psychiatric help. Feeling helpless and desperate to protect him, Needy decides to break up with Chip. On the night of the dance, Chip arrives alone, unaware of the looming danger. Meanwhile, Jennifer, weakened from not feeding, sees her chance for a fresh kill. As the band Low Shoulder performs, Needy leaves the dance in search of Chip, but when she doesn't find him there, her anxiety spikes. She frantically searches for him, knowing Jennifer might be close. Jennifer intercepts Chip on his way to the dance and begins to manipulate him. She lies, claiming Needy had an affair with Colin, which explains her strange behavior since his death. Jennifer plants seeds of doubt in Chip's mind, saying Needy doesn't deserve him. In his vulnerable state, Chip falls for her lies, and they start making out. Jennifer lures him to a decrepit mansion with an abandoned indoor swimming pool, the perfect secluded spot for her next meal. When Chip starts having second thoughts about hooking up with Jennifer, her patience runs out. With a sinister grin, she grabs Chip and tosses him into the murky pool, pushing his head underwater, trying to drown him. Meanwhile, Needy, rushing through the park in search of Chip, stumbles upon the orchid flower he gave her and hears his desperate screams. She sprints to the abandoned mansion, arriving just in time to witness a demonic Jennifer feasting on Chip's neck. Furious and desperate, Needy leaps into the water to save him. She pulls out a can of mace, spraying it into Jennifer's eyes. Jennifer recoils, vomiting a black, tar-like liquid. Needy drags Chip out of the pool, but before they can escape, Jennifer starts levitating above the water, her eyes glowing with malice. Needy confronts her, accusing Jennifer of never being a real friend and calling her out for her insecurity. Enraged, Jennifer lunges at Needy, ready to end her life. In a last-ditch effort, Chip musters his remaining strength and impales Jennifer with a pool skimmer. Wounded, Jennifer pulls the skimmer out and flees the scene, leaving a dying Chip behind. Needy cradles him in her arms as he expresses his love for her with his final breath. Needy wails in sorrow, her cries echoing in the empty mansion as she mourns Chip's death. Driven by vengeance, Needy storms into Jennifer's room later that night. Without hesitation, she leaps onto her former best friend. A violent struggle ensues as Needy chokes Jennifer, but Jennifer retaliates, biting into Needy's neck and savoring the taste of her blood. Needy, undeterred, grabs a box cutter and slashes Jennifer's stomach. The wound has little effect, and the two start levitating, wrestling in midair. Needy, pinned on top of Jennifer, notices the best friends forever necklace still hanging around Jennifer's neck. In a symbolic moment, she yanks it off, causing them both to plummet to the ground. Using the momentum, Needy drives the box cutter straight into Jennifer's heart, killing her instantly. As Jennifer's lifeless body lies there, her mother walks in, horrified to find Needy crouched over her daughter with a bloodied knife. The shocking scene leads to Needy's admission to a mental institution. Back in the present, Needy reveals that Jennifer's bite left her with some supernatural abilities, including heightened strength and levitation. She's also acquired some of Jennifer's darker traits, like a bad temper and a new, colder demeanor. Using her powers, Needy levitates herself to a high window, kicks it open, and escapes the facility. Out on the road, she finds a runoff stream and spots the dagger Nick had used to sacrifice Jennifer. It had been carried by the current from the waterfall where the ritual took place. Determined to get her revenge, Needy hitchhikes to the hotel where Low Shoulder is staying. The film ends with Needy unleashing her fury, savagely murdering the band members who caused all the suffering. And just like that, the tables turn on Low Shoulder, a fitting end for the ones who started it all.